quick video on something that I couldn't really find online. As you guys know, my motor is fully rebuilt and it's also sleeved, and some of you guys might know car's running into a lot of overheating issues last year. Found out what it was, bad head gasket, blah blah blah. But to prevent any overheating from the future or adding one piece to it, we switched up. I had the RSX Type S thermostat, which is a lot. I don't want to say it's a lot. It's a few degrees colder than the stock thermostat. I believe the night gen thermostat kicks in pretty high. Don't remember when it fully opens up. But the RSX Type S, I think, is another like 5 to 10 degrees colder. I forget. You probably could look it up. But I installed Road Racing installed a Mishimoto thermostat. I think it starts opening up at 155 degrees Celsius. No, sorry, 155 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So we wanted to keep the car in check, especially since this car predominantly only used in the summertime and a little bit in the autumn, springtime, but predominantly summertime. So we wanted to keep it cool. So I did a test drive yesterday. Been into doing a test drive ever since I got the car back about a month ago, and the coolant temperatures have been great. Let me start the car, and I guess this video is basically going to show you guys when the Mishimoto fully opens up, because there's nowhere that I could find where it fully opens up. Should have did the test before installing it, putting it in boiling water and put a thermostat in there, thermometer, and checking it out, but I did not. So we'll figure it out this way. It should, what should happen is, as the temperature rises, it's going to keep warming up. The thermostat should be fully open, and once it's fully open, the coolant inside the radiator and stuff should start circulating into the whole motor, and it should bring down the coolant temperature. And then once that happens, and then once it hits that temperature again, then it surpasses it to, I forget what mine's set at. I think it's like at 190 something, where the fans start kicking in, then they'll start coming back down. But anyways, guys, let's start it up. Need two hands since I have a twin disc. We added a clutch switch here, so instead of the clutch pedal, I use a switch here, so I need two hands. So hold on a second. Yeah, hold on, let me just put this here. Right now, hold on, I'll actually mute everything. All right, so as of right now, we're at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Close the door. That's just where it starts at. Is that accurate? No. So what else I've found with this temperature gauge compared to Honda, this reads about on average about 5 degrees hotter. So at the early stages, about 4 degrees with some delay, and it could creep up to, like, I think with the delay it goes up to like 7 or 8. So on average it's about 5. So I just subtract 5, and that's what the comparison with this gauge versus the Honda. With the air intake temperature, right now it's 80 degrees in here. This is 81. Don't know which one's accurate, but this one's usually about 15 degrees higher than 10 to 15 degrees higher than the Honda when it shows in Flash Pro. Yeah, so I'll let this get closer to, it says it starts opening up at 155, but I think it fully opens around, say, 155 in the 180 range. So actually it's warming up pretty fast, so I guess we could sit here and just wait till it warms up. Probably cut the film if it drags on too long. But so within the car, we'll be able to hear the fans. So what we're trying to do is just to see how fast the engine temperature goes up. So right now it's at 155, so it should start opening up. As you can see, it's still warming up. With the thermostat starting to open, it's not hindering the amount, the time that it is to warm up. All right, so we're getting close to 180. Yeah, I'm surprised no one online has showed when the Mishimoto thermostat completely opens. It's kind of weird they don't have that stat. So we are at 183, so -5, about 178. But just for reference, we're gonna go by this gauge here. So it's just a reference point, and we could always do the subtractions later. Warms up pretty quick. I mean, it's 80 degrees this morning, so it should warm up pretty quick, I guess. So what should happen is, as it fully opens up, it should stabilize, which I think it has, and it should go down or stabilize once it's fully open. So it looks like it has stabilized at 187, so around 182, 183. And I think as it fully opens up, the coolant starts circulating, the cool coolant goes inside the motor, so it stabilizes it, but then as it recirculates, everything's gonna start going hot because the fans aren't on. So it's stabilized at 187, which is good. So it should start going back up, and then after that, once it hits the trigger point, trigger temperature for the fans should cut on and start cooling everything. If you guys are curious, this gauge right here, oil pressure gauge and oil temperature. So just because the coolant temperature is up to par doesn't mean the oil temperature is up to running conditions. So always got to keep an eye on that. Just because this is hot doesn't mean that this is warmed up either. So you can see the temperature starting to go up, and we're pretty stable at 187, but it should start going up here shortly. There we go. So now it seems like all the coolant has circulated through the system, fully open, starting to go up. And the fan should kick in here shortly. As you can hear, fans kicked in at 194. So currently the fan is set at 5 degrees, so 189. So close to 190. We could probably mess around with those settings, but the fans are kicked in. As you can see, the thermostat is going back down. The temperature is going back down. 194. And it seems like the fans did its job. Brings it back down to 189. So if you guys haven't seen my previous video, both my fans are tied in together. So there's two fans on these cars. One's for the AC when you kick it out on, one's for the motor. Merc Racing has tied it both in where if either one of them kicks on, both kick on at the same time. So I just wanted maximum cooling. I didn't want to, I just wanted maximum coolant to cool the motor, or to cool the coolant as fast as possible. So here we go, it's going back up. 192, 194. Fan kicked in. So I'm not sure if we want to raise that 196. I don't know. I'm gonna ask my tuner if we should raise that to maybe kick in at like maybe closer to 200. But this is probably good because the fans, if we're driving, fans should never kick on. It'll be cool because of the cool air coming in. But as you can see at 194, the fans do kick in, creeps up to 196. Fans kick in, cools off, and it goes down to about 190 and previous to 189. So from this gauge here, it seems like it's stabilized at, what was it, 187? I have a bad memory, so whatever it was, stabilized at 187, whatever it was, that's the point where I think the Mishimoto thermostat opens up fully. And once it opens up fully, the cold coolant from the radiator that was separated from the motor circulated, stabilized the temperature at 187. Then once all the coolant went through the system, it got heated up. It went back to the temperature will go back up. Fan will kick out at 194, which is around 190, 189, according to Honda. Kicks in, then once it drops back down below 190 to here, about 189, it cuts off. So yeah, that's about it, guys. That's just a test to show you guys the Mishimoto thermostat for the K series. As you guys know, this is K24 with the K20 head. It's a Z7 block, 9th gen block, with the Z3, the 8th gen head. And don't forget, it is sleeve, so we want to take all precautions to keep the engine cool. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Till next time.